much for joining me, guys. The Vampire Council.
Yeah.
Love it.
Glad to be here.
So this first question is for Rachel. So you are kind of the leader of this Vampire Council, and one thing that's really interesting is that you actually read the comics, so you know a lot of these characters, a lot of the story that's outside of the story that we're telling here. What is it like to kind of see this universe that you read about in a comic come to life in a film?
It's super fun. I take a little bit of pride in the fact that I liked Ghost Sight before it was cool.
Hipster.
I was reading it since they first started it, and so it's kind of fun to be part of that. Charlotte wasn't a character in the comic, I don't think. I hope I'm remembering that right, but I would feel like a terrible fan if I was wrong about that. But I got to kind of create her and make part of this universe, and so that was fun to not just be the one watching and being the spectator and cheering Ethan and Jess on, which is totally fun, but I got to make part of it as well.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
One thing that I kind of want to throw to all of you guys, but specifically to Megan first, is the fact that in your guys' running scene, if I understand correctly, you guys had like real knives and you were running in heels?
Oh.
How was that? Were there any like on-screen mishaps?
We talked about it a lot before we actually did those scenes where we had game plans for like if you fall and you're running with a knife, you gotta throw it like as you fall.
I don't know if I was part of those conversations actually.
Yeah. So they, for me in particular, mine was like in my boot in its sheath like the whole time that I was running. I only pulled it out when I stopped, so I wasn't really concerned for me, but you had a very big knife.
I had a really big knife, and
Oh.
I didn't have a holster or anything for it with a strap.
Yeah.
And so I had to run with it. So
Yeah.
I would point it the other direction, but I definitely almost killed one of our werewolves once because I was supposed to keep running, and then he came behind me to intercept her.
So you could have just sliced his
But
guts.
he came in front of me
Yes.
on that round, and so that I think it showed up on the blooper reel. I screamed, dropped the thing, and then just body checked him.
Oh my god.
Because that was better than getting him with the knife.
Yes, this is
I
true.
was so scared that I was going to hurt him.
Oh my gosh. The
I-
crazy.
Yeah, mine was a scary knife.
For sure. Do you have any experience with those on-screen
I
mishaps?
just pretty much tried to dodge everybody else's knives.
That's a good philosophy for life, you know? Just kind of dodge whatever.
You were kind of coming up behind us, so we were
Yeah,
probably
so
more
I
in
did-
danger of you than you were of us.
Yeah, I tried to keep an eye on everybody where they were at, so.
Love that.
Excellent.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to talk to you about is this your first like acting role?
Again, not anything, this would be the most professional role that I've ever done. Like the most, like, the biggest production type role that I've ever done, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was super fun to have like the director and the camera and the sound crew and like all of the different parts of filming. So that's something that I really enjoyed about this.
And you were so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
You were incredible as this like gentle, kind of matronly vampires almost. Like
Oh gosh, I don't know if I like the
You
word
were like-
matron.
You were keeping us in check a little
that's
bit,
what
I feel like.
You were just kind of like were
Yeah.
this gentle force for good, kept everybody from fighting each other, which
Yes,
I thought was
okay,
really
I will
that's
accept
what
that
I
role.
meant. Oh no.
we
But I
needed a neutralizer. That was.
what I wanted to talk about was like any similarities that you see between yourself and your character of just like ways that you, because a vampire is not necessarily the most realistic role to play. What did you have to do to kind of get in character and like create that role so it felt like you were stepping into somebody that like you could see as a real person?
Well, for me, when I think of vampires, I think of very aged, wise characters. So for me, getting into the role was after having gone through so much life experience, maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 lifespans of a normal human being. What would I have learned, and what can I take that, like, what can I take with that to help those around me, or help the council, or how would I participate in the council when we're trying to take care of these, to be honest, weak people around us, these weak, insignificant
they die
little
so
beings.
easy.
Yeah, so like that's something that I took.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Well, thanks for
Yeah,
having
thanks
us.
for having
It was
us.
fun.